The rope cut into her skin long before anyone heard her scream. Maggie Doyle hung from an old cottonwood tree at the edge of the Kansas plain, the land stretched flat and unforgiving in every direction. Her bare feet swung inches above the burned yellow grass, toes trembling as her body twisted weakly beneath the summer sun. Heat pressed down on her chest until every breath felt stolen, like the air itself had turned against her. The rope was tied wrong. Too tight. Too deliberate. It dragged where it had no right to be, grinding against her skin with every small movement. Each sway sent fresh pain tearing through her, sharp and humiliating. Her hands were numb. Her throat felt scraped raw. Her vision blurred until the sky above her lost its blue and faded into a harsh, endless white. She tried not to cry. Crying only made men crueler. She had learned that lesson young, and she had learned it well. The rope rubbed again, and pain shot through her like fire. Her body betrayed her before her pride could stop it. "Please," she whispered. The word cracked as it left her mouth, broken and ashamed. "It's rubbing, it hurts." If you have ever had a moment where pain steals your dignity, you already know why she couldn't hold it in. Caleb Hart heard her voice before he saw her. He was riding fence near the Cimarron River, moving slow, his horse used to the quiet rhythm of a man who had lived too long with loss to rush anywhere. Caleb was 48, his face carved by dust, sun, and things he never spoke of. The sound reached him on the wind and stopped his horse cold. It wasn't a shout. It wasn't a call for help. It was the sound of someone begging through pain they could not name out loud. Caleb followed it through the tall grass, heart tightening with every step. When he saw her, he froze. A young woman, 26 at most, hung from the cottonwood, bruised and barely conscious. The rope bit into her waist and thighs, twisting her body into a shape that made his stomach turn. Her dress was torn. Her skin burned raw where the rope had rubbed and cut. Caleb did not look away. He did not hesitate. He dismounted, drew his knife, and cut the rope in one clean motion. He caught her before her body hit the ground. Maggie collapsed against him, shaking so hard her teeth clicked together. Her breath came in short, panicked gasps, like she expected the pain to start again at any second. "I'm sorry," she whispered, not knowing why she was apologizing. Caleb said nothing. He shrugged out of his coat and wrapped it around her, turning his body slightly to block her from the open plain. From the sun. From shame. From the world. He carried her into the shade, set her down slowly, and knelt until his eyes were level with hers. "Don't move," he said gently. "You're safe now." Safe. The word hit her harder than the rope had. No one had used it around her in years. As Caleb examined the rope marks, careful, professional, she flinched again when the pain flared sharp. "Please," she whispered. "The rope hurt me bad. Worse than the burns." Caleb stopped. His jaw tightened, not with desire, but with anger. With restraint. With something old and dangerous. Someone had done this on purpose. Someone had tied that rope to humiliate her. To punish her. To break her. In the distance, dust drifted along the road back toward Dodge City. Somewhere out there, the man who put her on that tree was still breathing free air. Caleb wrapped the coat tighter around her and stood. The town would talk. The town always did. It would twist this into something ugly before the sun went down. Caleb knew the difference between helping someone and handing them to a crowd. He didn't take her into town. Instead, he guided his horse along the creek line toward the far edge of his ranch, where the barn leaned crooked and the wind carried more truth than voices. Maggie barely stayed conscious in his arms. Every jolt made her flinch. The rope burns throbbed, leaving her shaking and unable to steady herself. Inside the barn, Caleb set her down gently and closed the door halfway. He brought water, clean cloth, and a salve made from tallow and herbs, something his late wife had taught him to keep. It smelled faintly of sage and smoke. "You're all right," he said. "I'm going to fix what I can." He worked slowly. No rush. No staring. Just hands that knew how to treat an injured animal, and a woman who had been treated worse than one. "It still hurts," Maggie whispered. "Down there." "It will," Caleb replied quietly. "But it needs time." Time. For the first time, no one told her to hurry. No one told her to be quiet. No one told her she deserved it. Hooves passed outside. Voices drifted close. Caleb stiffened. Two men stood near the fence, pretending not to look. "Everything all right there, Hart?" one called, smiling too easily. "Fine," Caleb answered. By the time they rode off, the damage was done. "They saw me," Maggie said softly. "They saw nothing," Caleb replied. But he knew better. Dodge City could turn pain into gossip before sundown. By morning, the whispers had teeth. Wade Doyle arrived before noon. He dismounted with a grin that had never meant kindness. "There you are, Hart," he said loudly. "Town's saying you picked up something that don't belong to you." Caleb stepped between him and the barn. His hand rested near his belt, not a threat. A reminder. "She's resting." Wade laughed. "Funny thing. Folks say they heard her begging." Maggie heard every word through the thin boards. Home had never been home. She stepped out. "I'm not going anywhere with you," she said. Wade smiled wider. "She's confused," he told the men watching. "Been listening to lies." "She stays," Caleb said. Wade shoved him. Caleb came back swinging. The punch landed clean. The sound cracked through the air like a gunshot. Wade hit the dirt, wiped blood from his lip, and laughed. "This ain't over," he said. "Town's already chosen." But something had shifted. Caleb rode into Dodge City at first light. He didn't go to the saloon. He didn't go to church. He went to the justice of the peace. "Legal don't always mean right," Amos Red said later, listening carefully. "And this ain't right." They brought Maggie in 2 days later, not as a rumor, not as a scandal, but as a person. She spoke slowly. She breathed when she needed to. And when she said, "He tied that rope to hurt me, to shame me," no one laughed. Not everyone changed. Some never do. But the truth was on paper now. And sometimes, that's enough to start. Later, Maggie stood beneath the cottonwood tree again. She touched the bark and took a deep breath, like she was taking her life back one piece at a time. You can't control what people say. But you can control what you accept. And sometimes, someone stands between you and the world, and asks for nothing in return.